All right, welcome inside for SJHL Weekly. I'm your host, Clark Munroe here. Obviously, it looks a little bit different today. As you can tell, if you're a fan of SJHL Insider, this is what it normally looks like for SJHL Insider, which is on Thursdays. And you're thinking, well, what's going on here? Well, Neugebauer is in Ontario, so we'll bring him in a moment. But we figured there he is. We figured let's just use the other set today, change it up a little bit, shake things up for Game 6s going on tonight. We'll bring Neugebauer back in just a moment as we just kind of prep the show here today. Obviously, we're going to recap a big Game 4 on Friday night in Yorkton, and then we're going to check in with Game 5s from Saturday. Two teams have punched their passes into the second round. Two series remain, and two Game 6s go down tonight. So we're going to preview those games, kind of recap it all, and preview what's going on the rest of the way. And we're going to be joined by Battlefords North Stars captain Anthony Campbell, who's had a heck of a playoff run so far. His team just punched their pass into the second round on Saturday against Melfort. So we'll talk to him, get his thoughts on what's going on right now with his team, and thoughts on going into the second round, and a whole lot more. But first, let's thank our sponsors: Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL, of course, our playoff sponsors. Now, normally UPL is very heavily brazened on the set. You can usually see their logo. So just want to give a big shout out to UPL because they don't show up as much on the SJHL Insider set, but just a big shout out there. Chevrolet, Great Western Brewing Company, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Batterstad. And if you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, please hit the like button, please hit the share button, or retweet it on Twitter, and send in a comment. We do have the capability, even though we're on a different set, we can put your comments up throughout the show if you send them in. So let us know how you feel about your team in round one, or thoughts on round two if you have them. BE1 Hockey Videos is checking in. So there you go. There's one comment. We'll throw some more up throughout the show. Let's bring in Jamie Neugebauer now. Jamie, I put on Twitter just a minute ago that everybody on the show today, in some capacity, depending on how you look at it, some context, is playing hurt. Over the weekend, I got a terrible head cold, so last night was rough for me. This morning hasn't been great. Bit groggy. We're going to fight through it, though. You're not playing necessarily hurt, but you're on the road. You're in your hometown at your parents' house, so you're checking in from there. Our director, Steven, our graphics director, he lost his voice over the weekend. We won't go into why.
He sounds better.
But he sounds great. And then Bryce always has something going on, Bryce. I don't know. I think you're actually the best of the four of us here today. But we're all fighting through something in some capacity, so let's get through it. However, it was a great weekend, so let's start there. Neugebauer, thoughts on the weekend with Game 4 on Friday, and then Game 5s on Saturday.
Well, what was that line they would people say? Nobody cares. Let's work harder. Something like that.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Work harder.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, again, this playoff continues to impress. Probably the best game of the playoff so far, by my money, was that Battlefords Melfort game that went into double overtime. That was 1,000 miles an hour all night long. Of course, the Mustangs playing for their lives. We'll get into that, but yeah, two series down, Clark, 2 to go.
Yep.
And still, we don't know anything about the second round, other than the fact that the Flin Flon Bombers will be there, and as well as the Battlefords North Stars.
The only thing we know right now is that those two teams will not play each other in round 2. The math will math how it maths, but we know for a fact that they won't play each other. They might meet up in the final if that happens, but basically how it's going to work now is Flin Flon will play whoever the lowest seeded team is. Battlefords will play the other one. So whoever wins, if Melville can come back and push a Game 7 and then win that one, they would play Flin Flon, for example, and then they would Battlefords would play the winner of Nipawin and Weyburn. But if Yorkton wins, then it depends on who wins in the other series, who they will play. But if Yorkton wins, Yorkton will play Battlefords. That's how we're looking at it right now. And Flin Flon would play Nipawin or Weyburn. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's just kind of recap what ended up happening. So Chaotic Bro says, good morning. Hello, as I'm slowly losing
Morning.
my voice as well, so we're fighting through things here. But let's have a look at what happened on Friday night in Game 4 between Yorkton and Melville. As you can see in the bottom right corner there, the top left corner, Flin Flon already punched their ticket on Friday night, so they were done already. And the other two series in the bottom left, you see Melfort and Battlefords. They weren't playing on Friday night. Weyburn and Nipawin also weren't playing. So the only game was the Game 4 between Melville and Yorkton, and Melville tied up the series with a 4-2 win on Friday night. And then as we move into Saturday, very similar, but all three games were on Saturday. Battlefords clinched their ticket into the second round with a double overtime 4-3 victory over Melfort. So a very hard fought game. Weyburn, they won on the road 6-1, Nugsy. We'll get into why that was so impressive in a moment. And then Yorkton took the series advantage with a 4-1 win over Melville on Saturday night. So, Nugsy, I'm going to let you take it away if you don't mind. Give me the breakdown of the Battlefords double overtime game against Melfort. Let's start there. I know that was on Saturday and there was a game on Friday, but as we go series by series, I want to start with Battlefords Melfort. So let's start there.
Yeah, incredible, game. Both teams played 1,000 miles an hour, as I said. But it's the first time that the Melfort Mustangs have been eliminated in the SJHL Playoffs, Clark, since 2023. So, let's put some respect first and foremost on the name of the Melfort Mustangs. Maybe one more time. But, certainly in terms of the overall skill quotient, I think the Battlefords North Stars again showed what they're all about. But not just that, the guts and the ability to grit it out. And you look at the statistics for the Melfort Mustangs power play throughout the series, and to be fair, it's really not pretty. 3 for 34. Nobody in the first round had more power plays than the Melfort Mustangs, but they struggled to score on this Battlefords PK big time. Obviously a brutal night in the previous game for Caden Serpa to give up 9 and to make it, that was Game 4, and so they went to Spencer Micknick, who hadn't played in a while, and he was terrific for Battlefords in this one, especially in overtime. And I'm sure we'll see plenty of situations in this highlight pack where the Melfort Mustangs were really pouring it on, and not much Micknick can do about it. Here's the tying goal. Look how quick this one is, right off the draw. Boom, in the back of the net behind Madden Malacca. And then check out this overtime goal. Let's pay attention here for a second. 5 Mustangs will end up on the half wall, and this really speaks to me, Clark, of a tired group of Mustangs, to be fair. They were playing catch up second half of the season, obviously big ice time for Saddlemeyer and his crew. So obviously that's not how you drop D-zone, to say the least. But I spoke to Lincoln Fisher a little bit, who scored the goal for Battlefords. Great job by Josh Knidig on the half wall to win that puck battle in that scrum. And then obviously Lincoln couldn't believe the acres of space and time that he had to score the winner in double overtime. But that speaks to fatigue. That's not coaching. That's not character. That's not effort. That was all there for sure for Melfort. It was just, I think maybe the depth of Battlefords finally got to them. We've talked a lot about Battlefords forward core, how 1 to 4 their lines are pretty tough to stop, and we can talk to Anthony Campbell about it today.
Yep.
But a wonderful job by the Mustangs to not quit on this season. We've talked about it from the trade deadline. They didn't quit on this one either. They got that big win in Game 4, and then just a bridge too far. They had all sorts of power play chances in overtime. Did Melfort as well? Some people were like, "Oh, why are all these power play chances going to Melfort? The league this, the league that." I'm like, if you're watching the game, which I'm assuming you're not, those were clear penalty calls that the referees gave, and power plays were really clear that went to the Battlefords North Star, or to the Melfort Mustangs, pardon me. And the Battlefords did a great job killing it. Spencer Micknick was great. And then you give a guy who's the caliber of Lincoln Fisher an hour and a half,
Right.
He's going to beat a goal.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's the way it goes. And this Battlefords team rolls on with their coach of the year leading the way. Pretty impressive stuff, Clark.
Very impressive stuff. And one more big kudos to the Melfort Mustangs for the way that they put together that season. They put the fear in a lot of people in that second half on the winning streak that they went on to push themselves from basically dead in the water in 10th place to 6th place. Nobody wanted to see them in the first round. Battlefords was able to kind of stick with their game plan and ended up finding a way. But holy cow, what a great run by Melfort. Great 2 back-to-back championships. And then to push this season the way that they did, it's kudos to Trevor Blevins, who, by the way, Nugsy, over the weekend, I don't know if it was over the weekend or late last week, was named Melfort Citizen of the Year. So how about that?
There you go.
Trevor Blevins, shout out to Trevor. Fantastic coach, fantastic ambassador for our league and for the city of Melfort. So there
Here's
you
a
go.
trivia question for you, Clark.
Yep.
Who was the last team to eliminate the Melfort Mustangs?
Battlefords.
It was the Battlefords.
I was going to say
with some guy named Kean Bell, some guy named Jake Southgate.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, spoiler alert for Nugs and Notes, are going to be teammates again.
Very cool. Yes. Yeah. That's great news, and I'm looking forward to hearing that in a couple minutes when we get to Nugs and Notes, because there is some cool news there in regards to that. Okay. We've given our shout out to the Melfort Mustangs. The Battlefords North Stars are moving on. They're awaiting to see who their opponent's going to be. It's either going to be Yorkton or one of the Weyburn Red Wings and Nipawin Hawks. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's start with the Yorkton-Melville series, because they played on Friday night. Melville tied up the series with a 4-2 win on Friday. Let's start there if you want to play the replay or the highlight pack for that one. But Melville got off to a hot start and kind of just held on from there. They kind of had the lead the whole game. So what went right for Melville in this game?
Yeah, well, obviously they gave it all they could. You know, you get a good start, even with the talent of the Yorkton Terriers, the Doug Johnson team usually will hang on to the lead. And I think there's a bit of a problem brewing and a test of character brewing for the Melville Millionaires tonight, and we'll, I guess, look forward to that, just in terms of maybe a bit of an injury situation there. But certainly a good another good performance from Matthew Spencer-Dahl. The Terriers did put plenty of shots on the Melville Millionaires in this game, and even in Melville, the Yorkton Terriers did a nice job of playing their style of hockey, but they kind of got goalied a little bit, and then special teams again is the big swing, and again, home ice has been big in this series too. The Melville Millionaires find a way to win at home. Yorkton find a way to win at home in the last couple of games, and then a nice shot there by a guy who's really had an underrated season in Kiel Schmaltz, who he scores in both games over the weekend as well, and an offensive guy that we can see be a big piece for this Melville team moving forward. But of course, this season is nowhere near over, and Clark, I mean, the way this series has gone, it's been momentum swings, it's been emotion swings. And not a big surprise that this series is going pretty long, even though it's a 2 versus 7. But the Melville Millionaires, again, when they are playing their game, they're keeping to the outside. They don't mind you getting a chance from the outside, trusting your goalie. But then the next night, as we've seen, the Yorkton Terriers, I think both Yorkton and Battlefords are two teams to me that time and time again this season have shown their ability to bounce back from performances they weren't thrilled. They outshot Melville 42-21 here in this game, and you see the ability of Tommy Reese and his ability to move his feet quickly. He's always had that great straight line speed, but the agility has grown. They got this 5-on-3, and they kind of score on both, and you see it's from the back end. We were wondering about their decor before the trade deadline. Pretty good, right? Tommy Reese, Tyler Palin, both with power play goals on that same power play, and again, hard to blame MSD in either situation. Yorkton got another power play goal the game before, so they were 3 for 8 over the weekend, were the Terriers, and that'll usually do the trick at 37.5%. But Yorkton just pumping shots at the Melville net, got out to a big lead, and again, tough recipe for a Doug Johnson team, especially one like this Melville team that has very, very good players, but maybe not the same type of offensive depth, at least in terms of being clinical and finishing, that maybe their opponents had. So it's one thing when Melville gets ahead early and Yorkton's trying to rally, and vice versa. Melville really is a team built to play with the lead versus Yorkton. But again, not like they quit, not like it was a game where the Mills didn't play, gave everything they had, but Yorkton just a little bit better, Clark, on the night. And Gavin Bartha, Jai Zawatsky, Gabriel Corshane. These are the guys that we expected for the Yorkton Terriers to carry the water, to carry the load. They continue to do a great job. And again, I'll just say it one more time. Tommy Reese, what a season. Defenseman of the year for a reason. Gets pucks through. And that's a huge difference. We saw that for Team Canada West. Saw that for the with the Western All-Star Challenge. His ability to learn and grow in his game as well continues to be impressive. Straight line guy, but was he agile? And that was the question that I had. And he's shown his agility. He's shown his vision to get pucks through, find those little creases, and don't care what goalie you are. And some of those, you're not stopping some of them. So not that the series is anywhere close to being over. Melville's played their hearts out, but tall task going forward to try to win 2 in a row here for Melville.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing I mentioned, if you're going to tune into the Road to the Cantera Seats Cup video that's coming out shortly after this episode's done, every game so far, the winner has scored 4 goals in this series. So it's like, who can get the race to 4? If a team can get 4, it seems like they win every time. So it'll be interesting to see. And like you said, it's going to be a tough road for the Melville Millionaires. I don't know how much we can say about the roster news we found out just before the show, Nugsy, but maybe you can talk about the Yorkton one. That one you can maybe mention, because that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So Trey Peterson, obviously a really highly thought of prospect of the Tri-City Americans, out of Sturgis, Saskatchewan, not far from Yorkton. Obviously, Yorkton minor hockey. Played for Swift Current this year in AAA, but totally dominated. 30 goals, 74 points in AAA. Playing his second game, centering a line with Cash Lanigan and William Leonard tonight for the Yorkton Terriers. But I'll just say it. I mean, there's some injury problems here for Melville, and again, they've shown their character, they've shown their guts and grit all year, and they got a great goalie. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's also in Melville.
Right.
So, you stay tuned for the lineups when they come out. But it's a tough blow for sure for Melville.
Right. And just to mention, here's the schedule. As you can see tonight, obviously Game 6 in Melville. If Melville can push it, it goes to Game 7 on Wednesday back in Yorkton. And I'll just mention the UPL playoff performer of the night for Game 4, which was split over 2 days because most Game 4s were played last Wednesday, and then Friday night, obviously, Matthew Spencer-Dahl was the Game 4 UPL performer of the night. The Game 5 UPL performer of the night was the guy in the next series we're about to talk about. So let's go to that now. The Weyburn Red Wings with a big 6-1 victory over the Nipawin Hawks to give them a 3-2 series advantage heading back to Weyburn for Game 6 tonight. And Joey Rocha in this one, I know it was a 6-1 game with a lot of power play goals being scored. But Joey Rocha, 38 saves on the night. Fantastic performance from him. He got the UPL playoff performer of the night in this one for Game 5, Nugsy. But overall, again, the power plays in this one, you kind of jokingly texted our group chat saying, can we just give the playoff performer to the Weyburn power play tonight? So what was going so right for Weyburn in this one? Because it's not necessarily characteristic of the Nipawin Hawks to have a penalty kill that struggled as much as they did in Game 5.
Oh no, I mean, you're right. Like no team in the SJHL gave up fewer power play goals this year than the Nipawin Hawks. The Nipawin Hawks only gave up 31 power play goals all regular season, which is a really impressive number. We talked about how good their PK is, but I think there's been a major adjustment. I messaged Cody Mapes about it. I said, what's the adjustment? And I think we kind of saw it a little bit even in Weyburn, and just sort of where the Wings were putting pucks on Gage Roberts, because he's obviously capable of making any save, but and again, Gage needs the help a little bit more of his D-core. Clark Stark was talking about it, the Nipawin broadcasters, how few black jerseys were in and around white jerseys in the blue paint area around Gage, so it's not putting it on Gage at all. But 5 for 6 on the power play for Weyburn in a night, went from 2 for 20 coming into the game for the Weyburn power play, and then going 5 for 6 in a power play in a playoff. That is almost unheard of, for me, and that boosts Weyburn's power play to the top of the SJHL playoffs right now at 26.9%. Both Nipawin and Weyburn's power plays have been solid in terms of the percentage-wise, and both of their PKs have struggled. Well, that's the way she goes, right, in the playoff series in
Right.
the first round. But it was a situation too when you mentioned Joey Rocha. He's had nights like this when he's been in Weyburn, where you're like, wow, that guy is the best goalie in the league right now. I mean, I called the game between Flin Flon and Weyburn. We could see that matchup pretty soon, by the way, in Weyburn, and I was like, Joey Rocha, wow, like unbelievable, totally dominant. And then he was totally dominant in this one. Clinical again. You go into Nipawin, not many people are out shooting them right now in Nipawin. But you just take advantage of your opportunities. And then the last thing I'll say, if you're a Nipawin Hawks fan, is it's both bad and good news, I guess, that some of your biggest dogs have not produced as much as you would have hoped. And I don't need to shout out too many guys, but you can go to the SJHL website and check that out if you want. But one guy who's really exploded, Clark, who's maybe been the MVP of the first round if things work Nipawin's way, is Jack Jansen. I mean,
Yeah.
5 goals, leads the playoffs in scoring. Just finding a way, gritty as well, earning more and more ice time, wins, draws a lot. Obviously, some frustration boiling over there for Nipawin at the end, but again, this Nipawin team, they've shown that they can go into Weyburn and win and play a great game too. So again, not over, just like the other series that's still going on, but was kind of disappointed with the Nipawin Hawks last time out, to be fair. And I'm sure they were disappointed in themselves. Tad Kozin, again, doesn't pull punches. He's a very honest dude. So again, they got to stay out of the box. They got to kill it when they get in the box, because this Nipawin identity is not to be a friendly team either. And Weyburn trying to get under their skin. They tried from the beginning, and they kind of worked. It kind of worked last time out. Let's be fair here, Nipawin Hawks fans. They got to find a way. That's all there is to it. Otherwise, it's a very disappointing, one round and done season for the Nipawin Hawks. But again, last thing I'll say, we talked about this series, Clark. One of these teams are going to be bitterly disappointed. Both of these teams think they can go and win it all.
Yeah.
So that's the way it goes.
And this series is one where, as you can see here, Game 6 tonight in Weyburn. Game 7 will be Wednesday, if necessary, back in Nipawin. This series has gone completely back and forth. As you can see on that menu board on the right there, Weyburn wins Game 1, Nipawin Game 2, Weyburn Game 3, Nipawin Game 4, Weyburn Game 5. No team has been able to win 2 straight games in this series, and it just kind of goes to show the thought that we kind of put into this before it started is, I wish this series could go 11 games, because boy, it's going to be good. And so far it has been. Both teams have won in both buildings, so that's not necessarily like a boogeyman at all. It's not like one of those things where it seems like the home team wins every night or the road team wins every night. Both teams have won in both buildings, so it could go either way tonight in Weyburn for Game 6, and it just goes to show it's going to be an absolute doozy there. If it goes anything like the game that we were at in Weyburn, where it was absolutely deadlocked after 2 periods, and then the third period kind of just opened up. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be a fantastic night. Get your tickets if you're in the area. It's going to be a great game, and if the trend continues, we could see this would make sense that there might be a Game 7 on the horizon, because Weyburn has won all of the odd-numbered games, 1, 3, and 5. Nipawin has won all the even-numbered games, 2 and 4, and tonight is 6. So we'll have to see how it goes. It's going to be a great one, as I mentioned. So Game 6 goes tonight. Let's have a look at the scoring leaders here. Nugsy I can't really say through 5 games, because some teams didn't play quite all the way. But all the leaders in the top 10 have 5 games played so far. So you see Josh Knitting and Anthony Campbell. Anthony Campbell joining us in moments, by the way. So stick around for that from the Battlefords North Stars. They lead the way. Surprise, surprise. The two studs for Battlefords combining for the top 2, and then Alessio Nardelli as well. Right there. Gabriel Corshane, not surprising, the league leader in points throughout the regular season with 7 so far. As you mentioned, Jack Jansen leads the league in goals with 5, and he's there with 6 points overall. Gavin Bartha, fantastic with 6 points. Bo Eisner, what a season he had, 6 points for him. Of course, they're eliminated now, him and Noel Englot there, as you can see. And then Lincoln Fisher, of course, the game-winning goal the other night. And Flinley Klippenstein, just such a solid player. And then you see Eric Hoynes, Will Munroe, and Jai Zawatsky there, all with 6 points as well, just not in the top 10. So there's your...
Can I just say...
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I'm
that's
just
it.
gonna say, we can call this segment the French Revolution.
Yeah, exactly. The French
Campbell,
Revolution.
Nardelli, Clerchain. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, they're taking over. Yeah, they're taking over. All right, let's have a look at the goalies here as well. As you see, Finn Werner and Charlie Tritt lead the way. Of course, they had a great series against Estevan, really making it tough on the Bruins in that sweep. Spencer Michnick with a great game the other night. He pushes himself. This is, of course, sorted by goals against, so he pushes himself into the top three after his game the other night. Callum Craig has been so good, and you see Matthew Spencer-Dahl has also been so good. Those two, of course, battling it out tonight in Game 6 as well. Joey Rocha there in number 5 has been fantastic, and of course, he kind of cemented that on Saturday in Game 5 with that performance that he put out there. Nathan Cam and Madam Malaka both have been eliminated, but great series from both of those guys, as well as Dylan Adams. You can see they're in 10th, and then Gage Roberts looks to maybe push his numbers up a little bit tonight in Game 6 against Weyburn, but boy, his numbers are maybe a little bit misleading because he has been fantastic.
Oh.
Really fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, the game we were at in Weyburn, like, there was a force field named Gage in front of the net. I think, again, the adjustment of Weyburn, maybe shoot a little lower. Talk about a guy who's not enormous in Gage Roberts, maybe 6'1". You say, oh, you got to go over his shoulders, got to go high.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe
no.
Not.
And just goes to show you how good he's been. I know, like I said, his numbers are a little bit misleading. As anybody who watched SJHL Insider last Thursday, when we had Cody Mapes on with us, head coach and general manager of the Weyburn Red Wings, I asked him, Gage Roberts has been really good this series. Thoughts on Gage Roberts? And he said, yep, Joey Rocha has been great. And that was, I think, all that needed to be said. I think that's fantastic. The trend ends tonight, says Chaotic Bro. So there, he's calling for a Weyburn series clinching win in Weyburn tonight. Nugsy, Playoff Warriors, take it away.
Yeah, I love this segment. Braden Jockham's really plugged into what we're doing, so thank you to Braden. Obviously wins every draw, it seems like. Obviously I love that little face-off matchup. We were talking about it. Connor Miller sees himself as a winger, but he's not going to be a winger if he keeps doing this. Obviously, incredible career for Zayden Saddlemeyer. You see those guys winning big face-offs for good teams. Block shots. Again, Nipwin's doing a lot of those gritty things that you need, but didn't do it last time out. Got to find a way to do it again here tonight. Braden Bruce, such a big guy, gets in the way of any kind of Estevan shot. Kevin Granger obviously plays a lot, so there's that. And Josh Carman, we've talked about. That guy eats rubber for breakfast. It's gluten-free rubber for Josh Carman, by the way, too, being a celiac just like myself. And then obviously the hits, Austin Shepard's, you were going to miss him. The SHL won't be the same without Austin Shepard or Caleb Benner or, Nolan Patterson. The list kind of goes on of Melfort Mustangs that we're going to really miss moving forward here. And I'm sure, things hurt for them, but also physically hurt for Austin because he's always getting, pounding people on the glass. Rylan Pierce, is he the best defenseman in the SJHL right now? Probably. There's I think that's probably the way it is so far in the playoffs. And then Noah Derwin, Clark, I couldn't stop talking about him, when we were watching him. And I think he's an early contender for one of Nugsy's favorite players for next year and even this year, the rest of the year. But boy, has he been good. The former Saha man, the former teammate of Gavin McKenna there in Saha. But, again, I love talking about these guys, the guys that do the things you need to do to win games and win series, Clark.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome stuff there. Nugsy, you want to do Nugs and Notes now or wait till after the break?
No, let's do it now.
Let's do it now. Nugs and Notes.
Coops can hear me do Nugs and Notes. He's fine. All right, Nugs and Notes. I don't know, Coop, I guess we can't do the guy dancing here on this thing, though. There's the guy there beside you.
Yeah, he's over here.
We're still live. Oh yeah, he's down there. Little Nugsy's down there, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're still good. I understand. So there you go. All right. Nugs and Notes. The Tourism Saskatchewan Highlight of the Year vote is still going. That is on the SJHL.ca website. You can go find it now and pick from the top 3 options there that we put out. So go to SJHL.ca and vote for the Highlight of the Year. Kean Bell has transferred from the University of Acadia University, to Lindenwood University in St. Charles, Missouri. and he will join Jake Southgate, Ethan Zilke, Drew Kuzma, among others of SJHL alumni playing D1 there in Missouri. Hamilton College beat Hobart for the D3 national title yesterday. Sebastian Hamming, the former Weyburn Red Wing defenseman, part of that Hamilton College team in Clinton, New York. Congratulations to them. The Regina Pat Canadians, they won the Saskatchewan U18 AAA League. They beat Moose Jaw in 5 games. 5-2 win on Saturday. Weyburn picked Ethan Young with 3 assists. Kindersley Clippers signee Malachi Martin with 10 goals in 11 playoff games, Clark. That's not bad at all. Telus West Regionals. We're going to start April the 2nd to 5th. There'll be an SJHL booth there, I understand, or some advertising at the Cooperators Center in Regina. So check that out. It'll be the Regina Pat Canadians, the Thunder Bay Kings from the Northern Ontario League, the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors, of course, and the Winnipeg Bruins will represent Manitoba. And the Frozen Four, finally, here. And April 9th in Vegas is when that'll go for the NCAA Division I tournament. Boston Buckberger on Denver was drafted by Larange in 2018. Cole Retchney of Macklin and Jock Zakreski of the Battlefords North Stars draft pick, he's from Saskatoon. They're both on North Dakota. They'll take on Wisconsin in the other semifinal. So Michigan versus Denver, Wisconsin versus North Dakota in the Frozen Four, and that should be fun, Clark.
All right, well, there you go. Thank you. Thank you, Nugs. Lots of stuff there. It's fantastic. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back, captain of the Battlefords North Stars, Anthony Campbell, joins us. Stick around till after the break.
The Price Beat Guarantee is back at Capital GMC in Regina. We will beat any price on any new vehicle from any competitor, or you get $500 cash guaranteed. The Price Beat Guarantee at Capital GMC in Regina.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
Every ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like sports. Buy your tickets today.
In the last decade, the construction industry has reduced injuries by 46%. That's as many injuries prevented that would fill several stadiums. Find out more at scsaonline.ca.
Feeling like your dreams are out of reach? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. With RBCX Music, RBC Training Ground, and RBC Scholarships, your idea of your highest potential happens here.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back inside. It's SJHL Weekly. Clark with Nugsy here, and we're going to head out and be joined by Anthony Campbell of the Battlefords North Stars. Anthony, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. I know I was going to ask, first question is, have you been able to catch any rest after a double overtime battle against Melfort? How was that one for you?
Yeah, it was a really good battle. Honestly, it could have gone either way. Obviously, having 3 penalties to kill in both overtimes. It was, we thought we thought maybe not. It was not our night, but after killing those, we had some momentum, and then Lincoln Fisher, who else than him to complete this this double OT win. But no, for rest, yeah, it was I'm pretty beat up. I'm not gonna lie. But yesterday we went to Owen Lamb's senior hockey finals game, and it was pretty fun over there. He won, obviously, because that's all he does. All he does is win. So yeah, no, it was we catch that game, and it was pretty fun. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. Give me the breakdown of that game. What ended up happening in that one?
Wilkie won 4-1. Lammer was just a dog out there. Does what he does. Block shots, lay hits, and all of that. So no, it was fun to watch.
That's a pretty good team building event. You don't get that all the time. I don't think during playoff runs, you don't get a chance to go out as a team and watch a different hockey game like that. That's pretty cool. Anthony, we've talked a lot this year about your roster, and it just seems like somebody new steps up every week. Somebody else has a big week here and there. We mentioned it a lot, like Finley Klippenstein had his stretch through the season where he just couldn't stop scoring. Drew Williamson had a couple of really good weeks over the season. Kobe Sawyer had a couple of really good weeks. What's it been like for you guys, just sticking with the forwards specifically, but it seems like no matter what's going on, it seems like somebody has the ability to step up. Has that been kind of the MO, the motive all year long? Has just been like, we know that somebody's going to step up?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we have 4 lines, and all 4 lines can be a first line in this lineup. So no, it's been really good. I mean, even Finley, like he's had a stretch where he scored every game, but he's still scoring right now in the playoffs, which is what we need. Like, and obviously, like second round, it's going to be other guys. And I think that's the key to our success is just the depth we have, and just anybody can step up on any given night. So yeah, I think that's part of our success.
Yeah, for sure. No, Soups, great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time here right after practice.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great. Last time we talked, it was in the lobby of the rink, I guess in Camrose there. So there you go. I got to ask you about Connor Logan, 29 years old. You've had all sorts of different types of coaches over your, junior career, obviously. And then now, you have this one in Connor Logan, Coach of the Year, young guy. How did he put this together? How did he put together a Coach of the Year season? What is it about him?
I think he knows the game more than we think he does. Because like obviously he's 29 years old, but he's been through championship teams. He's been through the BCHL. Like he's played in U Sports. He's played D3. So he knows a lot of the game, and I feel like he relies on us a lot. And which I like. He includes us, like especially the 20-year-olds. Like he includes us in everything. So like at practice drills or rest days or what time should we show up. And I think as a big key to like having this award, obviously he's a really good coach, but it's also being able to include the players and know what they want. And I think that made him Coach of the Year for that.
For sure. And I also think, and I know that Connor would agree, that he has some help in terms of Wiley Riendo, recruiting players, bringing guys in, making moves. And one move that was made this year was to bring in Alessio Nardelli, your good buddy from the Alberta Junior League. And now you guys go off to SUNY Plattsburgh together. Obviously, you played with Alessio in U18, and now you're here back together, and then you're going to college together. I guess just talk about maybe how much that's a weight off of both of your shoulders and how much fun it's been to reunite with Alessio.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I'm not gonna put it all on me, but it was mostly it was all I helped a lot to bring him over here. He had a couple teams wondering he had a couple teams that wanted him, and I told Connor there's no way he's not coming here. And I told him like we're a good team, and then that was at the point we were 6th or 7th in the league, and then we just needed a little spark, and then the fact that he came in, we went on a run, and then we didn't look back since. But no, obviously it's a little weight off the shoulders for sure. Just being able to be close to home. It's gonna be nice for me, and being with Alessio is unreal. I mean, he's like a big brother to me. He always looks around for me, and yeah, he's just awesome. So it's gonna be nice to be with him. I mean, he might not say the same thing, but I say that, but it's okay.
I like that. That's good. Anthony, one thing that I find interesting is you look back through your career. You've been in a few different places, obviously, throughout your minor hockey and junior hockey career, but you were in Fort McMurray in that 2023-2024 season, and like half of that team ended up in the SJHL. I just find that really interesting. We look at names like Rylan Ringer, Keith Gruner, who else? I saw some other ones. Brett Boucher, Liam Rodman, Simon Diaz, Kyle Marsden. They all came over as well as yourself. What was that? How's that been over the last couple of years? Because the Fort McMurray Oil Baron crew that has come over is pretty impressive. There are a lot of good players on that list.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a really tough first half over there, and then there's like a big problems with our head coach and everything. So the head coach left, and then we struggled to find a new head coach, and then we got a new GM and everything. So the new GM basically just spinned everything around and just decided to restart over, which is not a bad thing. I mean, like, they had success this year. Obviously, not the season, the playoffs they wanted, but yeah, they had a lot of success in the regular season. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was very surprised. I was very surprised to leave Fort McMurray. I thought I had a pretty good rookie season. I thought I was going to be there for my whole junior career, but everything happens for a reason, and I ended up in here, and probably the best thing that happened to me. So
yeah, you're in a pretty good spot right now, I would say. And going into the second round with that in mind, you don't know your opponent's going to be yet. It could be one of 3 different teams that are left. So it's kind of hard to necessarily like prepare at this very moment. But what's it going to be like for the next few days for your team, just kind of getting yourselves ready, especially after a grind of a series that it was against Melfort, to get back into, all right, next thing on the list? What's that going to be like for the next, I don't know, what is it, 4 days, I guess you have?
Yeah. Well, today was more of like a little slow optional, get some touches in. So today was more like getting back to it. Tomorrow we'll have probably just regular practice. I mean, it's all about, I think, our mentality. Now we gotta like just think of this is like series 1, and whatever happened in the past, like, it's behind us, so it doesn't really matter now. And we gotta think that every game matters as much as like the last series. So yeah, I think we're just gonna prepare the same way we did against Melfort. Be confident and know that if we play at our best, we can win this league. So yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I got to ask you, Soup, and I know Clark is tired of it, and it is a long time ago, but I do think, to me, like, obviously the Viking Cup was so much fun. I had such a wonderful time, and getting to know you a little bit was a blast in that as well. I guess just talk about, even third period against Sate, you guys come out and find a way. How much did that help you and Gavin? Maybe specifically in terms of your confidence, knowing on the biggest level in the biggest moment that you guys could be clutch like that. Because Connor Logan, we asked him not too long after that, he said that you and Gavin maybe took another step, made another, you put on the speed burst a little bit harder, even maybe after the Viking Cup. So maybe how much did that help you the last 3 months or whatever?
Yeah, well, it's just we got a little taste of what playoffs are going to be like. Obviously, it's not the same like type of a series, but no, it's just having a taste of winning. And made me and Gavin like really think about it, and really, like, we looked at each other and we were like, okay, we have to do it. Like, we have to give everything we have, and that just flips a switch. Like, if you want to win, then you're going to do everything you can. And even if, like, against Sade, exactly, we were losing 4-2 with 7 minutes left, and we just knew we were going to come out with this one. So it's just that mentality and staying confident and in the lower moments like that. It's just, I think that flipped a switch in myself, and I think it's the same way for Gavin. So yeah, it's just whenever, if we're down 3 goals or if we're up 3 goals, you just can't let the pedal go. So no, I think it flipped a switch on that part.
Yeah, pretty cool. And that then we move forward again to that double overtime game that Clark was talking about. And I had mentioned to Lincoln, I was like, how did you get so open? Like, I don't understand. And I'm sure the Melfort guys are a little bit frustrated, but maybe what did you see on the two overtime goal from where you were?
Yeah, I was battling in the corner, and then I fell, dropped my stick, so I didn't really see. And then I look up, and I see Fisher's just wide open. But I saw on our video we posted, he Keegan Nash went for a change, and like all Melford Mustangs just went to look at the puck, and then Fisher just took a little slow route and barely skated. And then as soon as Nittig saw him, and he just started going downhill, and then yeah, he scored that. I just knew it was going in before he even shot it, because he rarely misses those in the slot. But yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. It was a crazy play, but I don't know. It's just what a play from Josh again. Like, he's just battling in the corner and just looks up and finds Lincoln straight, like right in the slot. So no, it's just a great play from a great player. And then Fisher, obviously, Showtime, we call him that. So there's nobody else than him.
Like that.
Yeah, he's a big game kid there, that Lincoln. Not literally very big, but he never seems to be overawed by a moment or two, not strong enough or not big enough. Like, it never seems to be a problem for him. So big time shout out to Lincoln, and great call to shout out Knittig. I meant to, it's in my notes, I forgot to, but there's like 17 Mustangs on Josh Knittig, and somehow he still finds a way to find Lincoln Fisher there.
Yeah,
so great little play in tight there from Josh Knittig. All right, we got a little rapid fire here, Anthony. Rapid fire, just for those that don't know, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. You answer them in as few words and as quick as you can, and we'll have a little fun, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. You have many skills on the ice. I don't need to tell you that, but what is your best on-ice skill?
I'd say my vision.
What is your best off-ice skill?
Oof. I don't know. I think I don't know. That's tough. That's a tough one.
French?
I'd say,
French?
Yeah, speaking French is good.
There you go. I tried to email him in French earlier today. I might have screwed that one up. Whatever. All right. What was your favorite Viking Cup moment?
Probably the game-winning goal, like overtime winning goal, is unreal.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, great time. Obviously, guys don't get a chance. Talon Henriksen doesn't get a chance to tie it if you don't score the third goal. It starts to come back. So there you go. What is your favorite Quebecois food?
I mean, there's only one answer to this, and I'd say poutine. Poutine is well, you guys say poutine, but it's poutine, and yeah, it's the best. I mean, it's not the same out here, but in Quebec, it just hits different. It's really good.
Yeah, for sure. What percentage at home did you speak French and English?
100% French. I just don't speak English at all. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, what is the funniest thing that you can think of that an opponent has said to you that you can share?
He
was about to say something, and then he's like, "No, it can't say that."
Well, Zayden had a funny one on game 3, and it was at the start of the game, and he said to me, "Congrats," or he's like, "Good job on committing, but the only reason why you're there is because of Alessio." And that I thought was pretty funny, because it was on the game 3 where we won 6-3 against them. So yeah, it was pretty funny after that game to hear what he said about that. So.
Whew.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Zayden. Hey, just straight to the heart. I don't mind it. All right, 2 more. How did you get so good at face-off?
I mean, I'm gonna shout out Keith Gruner here in my rookie year. He was a big part of teaching me my face-off skills. I think he was one of the best face-off centermen I've played with. Obviously, in Flin Flon we saw it, but in Fort Mac he was also really good. So, very important aspect of the game that maybe we don't talk about enough. And yeah, he taught me a lot about it. And yeah, that's probably why.
There you go. Believe me, I talk about it plenty. So there you go. Very cool. And then last one for you, then Soups. Thank you so much for your time. Where is and kind of what's it known for?
What's that? Sorry, I kind of I didn't hear.
Where is SUNY Plattsburgh, and what's it kind of known for?
So it's south of well, it's in the New York State, so it's just a little north of New York City, and it's a D3 school. Obviously, their hockey program is really it's very successful. It's been very good in the past, and they don't have a football program there, so the hockey team is basically their football program. So it's really big over there, and they have a lot of fans. And Connor said, like, he went there and he's like, you're treated like a king over there, and it's a lot of fun. And just the main aspect is just that I can be close to my family for the first time in probably five years. So it's gonna be fun.
That's great.
Okay.
Well,
Good.
Anthony, thank you so much for your time today, as Nugsy mentioned, and we'll let you get back to work, because before you get to SUNY Plattsburgh, you got a big round 2 coming up. So we'll let you get back to it, and we'll chat with you again down the road.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, there we go. Anthony Campbell of the Battlefords North Stars. Nugsy, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap everything up and just kind of prime everybody for tonight's Game 6s one more time. So stick around till after the break.
Feeling left out of can't-miss moments? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. RBC clients get access to concerts, Avion rewards, and exclusive benefits. Your idea of memorable moments happens here.
Each year, the SCSA issues over 10,000 training certificates to the construction professionals who build our province. That is the same population as Weyburn. Learn more at scsaonline.ca.
Every ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like arts and culture. Buy your tickets today.
Introducing SaskTel Student Saving Tips. Tip number 138. You could build your own pallet furniture.
So you're living on your own. You can save money by building furniture with pallets.
Or get Infinet 150 for only $50 a month with SaskTel Student Deals.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, final segment here as we kind of wrap it up. Nugsy, it'll be a quick one here, just as we kind of, again, prime everybody up for Game 6s tonight. So I'm going to throw it to you here. Let's look first at Yorkton, Melville. What are your keys for tonight, let's say, for either team?
Well, I mean, Doug Johnson is a real amazing coach to me, the Melville Millionaires coach, and he's going to have a job because there's some key guys who are not in tonight. And so you'll have to check out the lineups for that. But, you know, I spoke to an individual who's not in the lineup tonight. It's not our job to reveal lineup things, I guess. So I'll just leave it at that. But he, you know, he's confident that the guys will pick him up and do the job for Melville. But if you're Yorkton, obviously, you know, you got to spell some blood 40 minutes up the road. Those teams have played a lot of hockey lately, of course, with that lineup, that scheduling snafu there, that they played that game on Friday and then Saturday and then today. So that's a lot of hockey over the span of 4 days. So it should be an interesting one between those two, Clark.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, as we mentioned going into this series, they also played the final 2 regular season games against each other. So this will be the 8th game between these two teams in the last, 2.5 weeks. They know each other quite well. And like you said, keep an eye out when the lineups do come out. It'll kind of tell the story. But it definitely is not one of those games to me, Nugsy, like for Yorkton. Let's just strictly talk about Yorkton here. It seems like one of those series where you don't want to let Melville push for a Game 7 because that could just spell a whole lot of trouble. So it's almost like killer instinct tonight for Yorkton, I think, is their key. Finish it now because I don't think you want to wait. I don't think you want to risk it in a Game 7 with a team that is going to be fighting for their lives here for 2 straight games. So that's my key, I guess, for the Yorkton side of things.
Very interesting. Sorry to cut you off there. Yorkton splitting up their big 3 line, like, at least to start the game. They're splitting up Korshane, Zawatsky, and Leonard, which has been a unit really since preseason, to make room for Trey Peterson, which we talked about. So it'll be Peterson with Cal Flanagan and William Leonard, and then Vinny Junek up on that line with Korshane and Zawatsky, 2 20-year-olds, of course, on that line, and then Gabriel Korshane, who led the league in scoring. So not bad. But Yorkton Terriers going for the jugular here for sure.
For sure. And of course, as you mentioned, like that could be how they start. They could switch it up. They could mix up lines throughout the game. Of course, that's how it works. But it's very interesting and a very talented player jumping into the lineup here. So we'll see how that affects things, or if it can maybe make things even better in Yorkton, because we all know how potent that lineup can be at any given time. So we'll see if how that changes things. And for Melville, like you said, I think the key is just going to be picking each other up here and putting together the best effort you have all season long, and that's the key. The other series, we're looking at Weyburn-Nipawin Game 6 in Weyburn. So both games tonight are in the southeast corner of Saskatchewan, but in Weyburn, a chance for Weyburn to win at home to clinch this series and move on. And if that happens, obviously they'll either play Flin Flon or Battlefords, depending on the other series. But obviously Nipawin, if there's going to be a team that pushes to a Game 7, there isn't many more talented teams in this league than Nipawin in order to do that. So what would you say the keys to this game is for either team?
Yeah, I mean, for Nipawin, you need to stay out of the box, and you need your big boys to score some goals to pick up some of that slack. I mean, you can get offended and get mad at me if you want, Nipawin fans, but certain guys know who they are. Not that they've played poorly, but and the team has found a way. With the likes of Jack Jans and Connor Watson when he's been in the lineup, those guys have been great all year. Of course, Braden Jockums has been very good too, but a few guys missing a little bit. So they need some help. Again. Our talent on Nipawin. Don't worry about that. Weyburn, again, shorthanded up front a little bit. Again, stay tuned for lineup sheets, in a couple of hours. But, they've called up Van Hubner again to put on the back end, the talented young defenseman. So they'll have a bunch of defenseman options, at least Weyburn will. It should be interesting to see, what the situation looks like up front in terms of combinations. But if you're Nipawin, the series is over if you go 5 for 6 if you let Weyburn go 5 for 6 again. Like, can't let that happen. I know Tad hammered that home with them, but it should be an absolute terrific game at the Whitecaps Resource Center tonight. So again, get your tickets, get in touch with Ryder, however you need to do it. Get to that rink, because that is going to be something to watch.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a great
attendances have been fabulous, by the way. Like the last 4 or 5 games, all of them have been over 1,000 fans. In Yorkton, I think it was around 2,000. So, shout out to the fans for really showing up this weekend too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of just goes to show all season long how this league has been, like, every game has been important. Every game has been interesting and exciting, and it just goes to show how these fans have really noticed that this year, and they've put the the ticket sales have been fantastic, and every rink and every community has gotten behind their team. So awesome stuff there. It's going to be a great night, like you said. Could be a goalie duel in Weyburn tonight. We'll see. But it's going to be two great teams facing off. So great time in both rinks tonight. Like I said, both in Southeast Saskatchewan, Melville, and Weyburn. For Game 6s, get your tickets. It's going to be a great time. Let's thank our sponsors here, Nugsy, one more time as we thank Cantera Seeds. Of course, the road to the Cantera Seeds Cup is a great one so far. Canalta Hotels, Capital Automotive Group, SGEU, SAS Lotteries, UPL, our playoff sponsor. Stay tuned for the UPL playoff performer of the night for Game 6. It should be a good one. And if there's any overtimes, the overtime challenge as well is presented by UPL. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter for those and get involved for your chance to win a prize. Chevrolet, Great Western, Brewing Company, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Batterstad. Nugsy, shout out to you for jumping in on your trip. Have a good rest of your trip. I think, are you going to the Jays game tonight? Is that official?
Yep.
So you're going to be able to see Cody Ponce, his debut against the Colorado Rockies. It's going to be a great time.
And Tomiyasu Sugano's debut for the Rockies, too.
Right, exactly. So it's going to be a great time. Hopefully lots of home runs for the Blue Jays. You get to hear the horn a lot. Let's hope. I'm looking forward to checking into that one tonight. But enjoy the rest of your trip. We'll see you on Thursday. Bryce and Steven, thanks for powering through today as well. In the back, appreciate you boys. And we'll see you guys again on Thursday. A great night of hockey tonight for Game 6s, so get to the rinks. If you can't, of course, follow us on all of our social media channels and get your subscription to Flow Hockey. You can catch it all online. Until then, I'm Clark for Jamie. Bye for now. We'll see you on Thursday. Enjoy the hockey, folks.
Good effort, but still an L.